Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. Big update today, guys. Bill Miller, the billionaire value investor, has disclosed that he has 50% of his portfolio holdings in Bitcoin. This is very bullish. And I want to break down what he had to say in this recent interview and what else we can expect from other billionaires, because we saw Paul Tudor Jones is the one that started this whole movement of these billionaire hedge funds dabbling into Bitcoin and crypto. In addition, the crypto mass marketing continues. We have NBA star Klay Thompson, who just came back from injury. He's participating in a $1 million crypto giveaway with the Cash App, showing once again, guys, this thing is not over. Companies are marketing, they're doing their sponsorships. Whales and institutional investors are buying the dip. Also, we have big crypto regulation news. We have SEC Hester Peirce sharing an update around her safe harbor. We also have Gary Gensler going on CNBC today, and he's getting trashed by people in the Washington, D.C. circles, many of the pro-crypto congressmen. And there's some other big updates coming out of D.C. regarding crypto regulations. Now, before we get to it, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button. If you're new here, it helps support the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. Guys, friendly reminder, I uploaded my interview with Anthony Scaramucci earlier today. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. We talk about his respective hedge fund making a big bet on crypto, and they've added Algorand to their portfolio. Now, speaking of Algorand, this video is sponsored by Algorand. They are building the future of finance. As mentioned, Anthony Scaramucci is invested in them. Borderless Capital launched a $500 million fund to invest in Algorand, as well as Michael Arrington's hedge fund. And Algorand is getting significant adoption. Central banks are building their CBDCs on Algorand. NFTs are being launched on Algorand. So if you'd like to learn more, please visit algorand.com. Now, if we take a look at the crypto market list here, not much happening. Bitcoin did drop below $40,000 today. And there's just red across the board. There was a slight bounce on like the 4-hour chart and so forth, but I don't look at those small time things. I look at more of the weekly, which gives a good indication of what we can anticipate. Now, obviously, macro level, I'm bullish, but these short-term moves are going to be painful, right? This market is very volatile, but that volatility swings both ways, my friends. And you can use that to your advantage to make a lot of money. For example, you could have your respective holdings for long term, right? You have your crypto that you're just holding for years or whatever it may be. And then you can have some holdings that you're swing trading. So not financial or investment advice, but one could, for example, buy now and wait for the market to swing upwards again, sell and make short-term profits. That's what I personally do. I don't leverage trade or day trade. I swing trade, and that could be over months, over quarters. And I've shared this before. So that's something, you can do. It's a bit of play money, so to speak. I don't do it with a significant amount of money, but enough where I make a nice return. And why not, right? Once you understand the market cycles and you have patience and you take your emotions out of it, hey, I'm going to buy right here where we seem to be at the bottom, where to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever altcoin. And then I'm going to hold that respective amount. And when it swings up and, I can make whatever, 5, 10%, sell it, profit. So just another avenue or a way to make money. You can also obviously stake your crypto and do yield farming and all these things and earn as well. But not much happening, my friends. Speaking of the micro level or the daily, Crypto Caesar, who does some great analysis, tweeted Bitcoin one day in a nutshell, showing that we are potentially at a bottom, also showing the RSI is bouncing a little bit. So we could be heading upwards soon, breaking out upwards soon, but we'll have to wait and see, right? This RSI could bounce around a little bit here until we find the bottom and then bounce upwards. But as we talked about in yesterday's video, when you have this level of fear in a bull market, it's very bullish. And it's just a matter of being patient and letting this thing bottom out, let the leverage trading get flushed out, and then we bounce upward. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, here's the big news, guys. Billionaire investor Bill Miller now has 50% of his personal wealth in Bitcoin. The famed fund manager had invested heavily in Bitcoin in his funds before. Now, it's interesting. He said quite a few things in his interview, and I'll play a clip, but he gained his fame for beating the S&P 500 index for a record-breaking 15 years in a row from 1991 to 2005 as a fund manager at Legg Mason. And he has previously invested heavily in Bitcoin funds that he managed, but his revelation about his personal portfolio was new. So obviously he has his company, right, and his fund where he has his clients' money. And they are, of course, investing in Bitcoin, but his personal holdings, and once again, he's a billionaire, so this is most likely hundreds of millions of dollars, he has 50% of it into Bitcoin. Now, to put 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin or your wealth, you got to be bullish on this. And in fact, in the interview, he talked about it. He said at one point, I was an observer. I bought some Bitcoin and I was watching it and I was a bit passive about it. Now he's like, I'm a Bitcoin bull. I'm all in. And it's along the lines of what we've been talking about, the macro factors, guys, inflation, the debasement of the currency, and Bitcoin and crypto offering, much more solid, sound money principles of hard cap, right? You know how many Bitcoin you're going to be, 21 million. Obviously, other altcoins, the same thing. And the ability to really move this at a faster pace versus carrying a gold in your house and being able to buy and sell in and out of Bitcoin faster than gold. And gold was the sound money for a long time, right? Above fiat, but now Bitcoin and crypto is higher than gold. And that's why these guys are all jumping in. And we saw it started with Paul Tudor Jones in 2020, then Bill Miller, Stanley Druckenmiller, Ray Dalio, they're all jumping in. So Miller said he personally started buying Bitcoin at around $200 in 2014 after hearing a talk by Wences Casares, known as the patient zero of Bitcoin, for introducing it to Silicon Valley circles at the annual Sun Valley Media and Tech Conference. Boy, I sure wish I had gotten Bitcoin at $200. Now, let me play a clip here of what he had to say regarding his perspective on Bitcoin.
So I've only recently been allowing myself to be described as a Bitcoin bull. I used to tell people, they say, oh, you're a Bitcoin bull, you own a lot of Bitcoin. I'm like, I do own a lot of it, but I'm actually a Bitcoin observer, and I'm observing its trajectory as a new technology and comparing it to the trajectories of things like the printing press or the steam engine or the railroads or the automobile or electricity. And it's following that very, not predictable, because it's not predictable, certainly in the early days, a well-understood path for the adoption of new technologies. And, I think it was Stan Druckenmiller said earlier in the year that, and now he owns Bitcoin, by the way, but he said that Bitcoin was a solution in search of a problem. And what I've found amusing about that is every new technology is a solution in search of a problem. Because you have a new technology, then you try and figure out what you're going to do with it. And so, when we created the internet, what are we going to do with that? So
I hope you guys caught what he said there and how he likened this technology, obviously blockchain and crypto, to the railroads and the steam engine and the printing press. That's significant, guys. And I absolutely agree with him. And you got to take your emotions and feelings. So I know there's a lot of tribalism. People hate Bitcoin, they love Bitcoin, whatever. Bitcoin started it all. So you have to respect that. And the blockchain was formed out of Bitcoin. And then we got altcoins, right? It branched off. And now out of crypto comes NFTs and the metaverse. So you got to look at this thing macro level as an asset class. And whether you hold Bitcoin or not, you have to understand what he's saying here. And Bitcoin is, let's say, the spark that's growing and catching fire, so to speak, around the globe, and everybody's getting involved. These these massive institutional players, billionaires, corporates, even governments, right? El Salvador adopting Bitcoin. Many other countries expected to make Bitcoin a legal tender. And it starts with Bitcoin and then it moves to altcoins. We've seen this with many of the institutional players. So pretty bullish, guys, that he has 50% of his wealth in Bitcoin. This makes me very, very bullish. And, you know, I've talked about game theory playing out. Watch other players. We've already seen a lot of them, these dominoes fall, but watch more folks jump in because he's right here. This guy with this cachet, this resume coming out and saying, yeah, personally, I'm taking 50% of my wealth and putting it in there. It gives the green light. It gives the confidence to many of the other people who move in circles with him. So very interesting. And by the way, I am trying to get an interview with Bill. Hopefully I can get something set up and we can ask him some detailed questions on his portfolio breakdown, if he's messing with any altcoins and his outlook and so forth. But very bullish news, guys. Now, look at this. Klay Thompson, NBA star, who I'm a big fan of. He's back on the Golden State Warriors. He was gone for 2 years after being injured. Now, smart move by the Cash App, Square Cash App, who obviously they do crypto trading and the ability to buy, sell, of course. Klay tweeted the following: "I'm back and changing it up. Excited to take part of my paycheck in Bitcoin thanks to Cash App. I'm with Bitcoin because I believe it's the future of money. Plus, I'm giving out $1 million in Bitcoin with and the other NBA, his other NBA teammate, Andre, oh my gosh, Iguodala. I couldn't remember his name there. Right now, he says, just follow Cash App plus drop your cash tag below with paid in Bitcoin. Whether you like NBA basketball or you like basketball or you hate Klay Thompson, it's not your favorite, the Warriors are not your favorite team, that doesn't matter. Takeaway here, the mass marketing, right? And this guy has millions of followers, strong brand with the Golden State Warriors, along with Steph Curry. I hope you see what's happening here, my friends. And this is what you need to be paying attention to, in addition to the price, right? I always start my videos off with the price, but these things, this marketing and building the infrastructure and the on and off ramps will lead to more money entering the crypto market and higher valuations and more adoption. Now, Hester Peirce, who I've interviewed on the channel, known as Crypto Mom, the last resort we have at the SEC, who's fighting on behalf of us retail investors and trying to push for clear crypto regulations, going up against Gary Gensler and so forth. She tweeted the following: "It's great to see creative thinking on what a crypto safe harbor might look like. This version incorporates some elements of mine, but is more targeted. Open and concrete discussion can help us develop good crypto regulatory policy in the US." So what is she talking about? Well, it looks like a group, and they put this on GitHub, Safe Harbor X. So once again, taking some of what Hester Peirce put together, and here's the title: Proposed Safe Harbor, Exemption for Qualifying Distributions of Autonomous Crypto Tokens, Proposed Securities Act Rule 195, Exemption for Qualifying Distributions of Autonomous Crypto Tokens. Now, this is pretty detailed. I'm going to put a link in the description for you guys to read through this. It's too much to cover here. You can see I'm scrolling. This will probably take a few hours to go through. But I think the TLDR here is that it's taking what Hester Peirce put together and it's adding a little bit of steroids to it. And you know, I love this. I love that people are weighing in on this. So let me at least read some introductory aspects of it. This working draft, initially prepared in a single day as part of the Lex Punk working group, at this point, it is just a straw man and everything is still very subject to rethinking and revision. A non-exclusive list of mixed definitive and possible to-dos is appended to the end of the document. And let's see, the analysis of whether a particular offering or distribution of a digital asset constitutes a securities offering is not static and does not strictly depend on either the nature of the digital asset or the manner of the offering or distribution. It is common practice for developers of autonomous crypto systems to distribute governance tokens to users of the systems essentially for free, or put another way, in recognition of or exchange for the usage of the systems by such users. So this thing goes on and on, but I like what's happening here, guys. And I think we're going to see more of this. If Gary Gensler and the other folks at the SEC don't get this right, and Congress isn't stepping in time, people are going to put together some creative things here and propose them. And look, with DAOs, we could do, I think people are going to get creative, and it's going to get to the point where the SEC is not going to be able to control any of this anyway, because it's going to evolve, right? More roadblocks they put, it's going to evolve. And they're gonna lose more power than what Gensler's trying to maintain. So this is interesting, and I like it. And on that note, Gary Gensler, guys, he went on CNBC today, and of course he was asked finally by the people at CNBC, Andrew Sorkin and so forth, "Hey, what's going on with that Ripple lawsuit? And tell us about the Ethereum free pass." And then he declines to say, anything about it. He doesn't want to say Ethereum is not a security, even though, what's his face, Bill Hinman put out the respective document, and a lot of the SEC officials were saying Ethereum is not a security. See this awesome Bill Hinman speech here, and he laid it out. Now Gensler's trying to, sweep that under the rug, because he knows the conflicts of interest, and he knows if these things get talked about more and people start digging, and the SEC is going to get exposed, and he will lose power as a result. And I said it before, I believe Ripple is going to win this lawsuit, and it's probably going to lead a lot of or set the precedence for a lot of the crypto projects in the market. Now, Gary got called out today. So the Financial Services GOP tweeted the following: top Republicans Patrick McHenry and Senator Toomey blast SEC Chair Gensler for limiting public input on rulemakings. They demand Gensler remedy his unprecedented pattern by extending the comment period for all proposals to at least 60 days. So Gensler's trying to, get as much as he can under his control. He doesn't want the retail investors or the public, anybody involved, right? That's when you got something to hide. And I've said it many times, he's a puppet for the banking cartel, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and so forth. Now, Congressman Tom Emmer, who I've interviewed, he said the following. He tweeted, Gary Gensler continues to show his true colors. By shortening the comment period on the new SEC rules, he is attempting to avoid public accountability. We won't let him. Love it. And Tom continues saying here, glad to see my colleagues, Patrick McHenry and Senator Toomey, working to rein in Gensler's attempt to hinder U.S. leadership in blockchain technology and digital currency. Now, I am trying to get an interview with Senator Pat Toomey. In contact with his people. So once again, stay tuned, guys. Make sure you got the notification bell enabled. Representative Bill Huizenga, and I apologize if I butchered his name. My apologies, Representative Bill. But he tweeted, I just love this, guys. A lot of these guys in Congress and so forth and government are speaking out publicly against Gensler. I love it. Pressure. He said, if Chair Gensler continues down this path, it will become increasingly clear he's pursuing a personal agenda rather than what is best for consumers and market participants. We know he wants the Treasury job, and it's been reported by Fox News that he's overworking staff, and a lot of the things he's asking them to do are not like in line with trying to protect investors. It's more of like, once again, his agenda to try to show that he's hard nosed or he's this and that and whatever, because he wants that Treasury job. And Charles Payne of Fox News actually tweeted the following. He said, not sure why Gary Gensler keeps rejecting requests, but I'll keep asking. I've tried to get an interview with Gensler. I've interviewed his people, crickets. And Gensler has just been going on certain channels like CNBC, which kiss his ass and they don't pressure. And the same thing with Jay Clayton. But the folks at Fox will probably come out swinging because they've been doing the investigative journalism. So Gary Gensler is avoiding them as much as possible. Now, Ron Hammond, who I'll be interviewing, he's a director of government relations at the Blockchain Association. He tweeted the following: "This week in Congress and crypto. Besides legislation, one of the tools members of Congress use to move policy is letters to regulators. These letters are important for the crypto industry given the lack of regulatory clarity, but there are several still awaiting a response. For crypto, let me pull this up here. For crypto, these letters responses serve as important guidelines as they provide the bounds for how companies can comply with laws or guidance. Regulatory staff therefore need to perform due diligence to ensure the content is legally sound, which takes time and resources. However, these responses can take months to hear back on, and in some cases, no responses at all. This can irk members of Congress as these letters can be pivotal to their legislative or oversight capabilities. Those who are higher ranking tend to receive more timely responses. These letters can be just as impactful as speeches and enforcement actions. One example is former SEC Chair Clayton responding to Representative Ted Budd's letter on digital asset transactions no longer representing an investment contract. Response took over 6 months. He said, for Gensler's tenure, there have been a couple of crypto letters that have received responses, but most of the time, these letters do not reveal anything different than what has been said before. Here's an example of Senator Toomey's letter response. So he goes into more and more details here. And the other one here, he says, there is still several letters awaiting responses, and some are bipartisan. Political pressure and looming SEC oversight hearings, which occur 1 to 2 times per year, tend to shorten the time for a response. But for now, there are 2 notable outstanding letters. He says blockchain caucus chairs, Representative Tom Emmer and Darren Soto, are awaiting a response to their November letter on the approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF. Important note, Representative Emmer is the oversight subcommittee ranking member, which oversees the SEC. So they've been sending letters to Gensler. He's taking his sweet time, probably trying to drag things out as much as possible, because it's not just about the Ripple lawsuit or the Terra Luna lawsuit. And Gensler is trying to stop Coinbase lending. Obviously, he did. He hasn't approved the Bitcoin ETF. He's approved the futures, which, you know, he knows his banking buddies are going to manipulate the market as much as possible with that, just as they did gold and silver. Ron continues, he says, FinTech Task Force ranking member Warren Davidson and 4 other financial services Republicans are awaiting a response to their October letter inquiring whether stablecoin issuers that hold money transmission licenses could be exempt from securities regulations. And this goes on and on and on, but I think it's 2 more items here on the tweet. It says, these are just 2 examples, and I would like to stress that given the importance of these letters, regulators tend to invest more time in double checking the legal implications of their responses. However, Chair Gensler does a good job sticking to what he has already been or said. Looks like I missed 1 more letter. Patrick McHenry is still waiting response to his letter regarding Chair Gensler's past comments on crypto exchange regulation and statements as to how as now SEC chair, this letter was sent in October before Gensler testified. Once again, more pressure, more requests for Gensler to do the right thing here. Whether he does it or not, we'll have to see, but we might need more folks in Congress to step up and to really put together some comprehensive crypto regulations, guys. Gensler is such a clown. Now, we got some Ripple lawsuit updates here, speaking of Gensler, and it says here, Ripple has filed its response to the SEC's notice of supplemental authority regarding the SEC's motion to strike the fair notice defense, which is a big part of their defense. And here's what Attorney Jeremy Hogan had to say. He said, Ripple's argument is clean, concise, and correct. The Fife case was talking about making orange juice, but the Ripple case is just talking about whether the oranges can even be picked off the tree. That's different procedural posture in a lawyer talk. Very interesting. So we have a certain date. I think it got pushed back from the 14th to the 19th, based on what I saw on Twitter. And then, you know, I do believe this lawsuit, this case is going to wrap up soon, hopefully, hopefully, right, based on what the facts we have today. And a settlement would be great for Ripple and XRP, and giving them the clarity, and also laying the roadmap as to how the rest of the crypto market can fight Gary Gensler and the SEC. So guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think, especially this Bill Miller news. I think this is significant and makes me very bullish. Leave your comments below, hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.